Hello, and welcome to the Wheel of Fortune, where luck, destiny, and fate all intersect at the same point. Before we can get into our players, Jenny, please tell them what they must do. All you need to do before we begin is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. That way you are notified when we have uploaded new content. So here we go. So as we said earlier, the Wheel of Fortune card is a card that deals with and talks about luck being on your side. It's about gaining success. It's about destiny and fate and fortune and all of those wondrous things. It's also about a misfortune and not so lucky mishaps. It's a very interesting card. Let's get into it a little bit further. So the card that we will be talking about is the one depicted in the Rider-Waite deck, like the other cards we traditionally have been using. And the main thing that you'll see on the card is a wheel with 8 spokes. And on each one of those spokes is a letter, and they're alternating letters. We also see on each corner a particular animal. Each one of these animals represents a zodiac sign and an element. And then we also see inside there the Sphinx, Anubis, and Typhon. So in the corners, you will see, as I mentioned, those 4 animals. The first one you see is Taurus, the bull, which represents Earth. The second is Leo, the lion, naturally, fire and all of that energy. Scorpio represents water. The angel is Aquarius, representing air. Inside, around the wheel, you see a sphinx on top. You see a snake, which is supposed to represent the Egyptian god Typhon, who is the god of evil, and then Anubis, which is the god of the underworld, but in this case, the god of good, right? So you have that good versus evil imagery. Sitting on top is the Sphinx and all of its knowledge and wisdom, kind of looking over to make sure that the balance is maintained. But just like night and day, that wheel turns. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. So you see the wheel start turning, and it's just a matter of balance. If Anubis is on top today, Typhon might be on top tomorrow, depending on how fast or how slow that wheel spins. Inside, where we see the spokes, as I mentioned before, there are 8 separate spokes. And on top of each one of them, there is a letter. One of them could be a regular English letter that we would see, like, for example, T-O-R-A. And then in between those letters, there are Hebrew letters. When looked at as T-A-R-O, obviously that spells tarot. If you go clockwise, it's T-O-R-A. But looked in a different way, it's R-O-T-A. And this is Latin for wheel. When you look alternating them, you will see the letters Y-H-W-H only in Hebrew text. Now, these letters, when translated into English, would be like air, earth, fire, water. And this is known as the tetragrammaton, or the inconceivable name of God, but everybody just says Yahweh. So here we see that the wheel represents the lower universe as a whole, with divine wisdom, the Sphinx, as the eternal mediator for good and evil. So in the Kabbalic reference, this would be Kalf, K-A-L-F. This letter means palm and represents the many ways in which spirit can move matter and can relate to the beginning of formation or creation. It brings the spirit world into the physical world. And since some people associate the Wheel of Fortune card to divination, the name with palm reading occurs. Now, in the Rider-Waite deck, this image of the wheel is also a small reimagined version of the 15th century medieval concept of the rota, also spelled R-O-T-A, Fortuna. And Fortuna was a goddess of fortune. Astrologically, this card would be paired up with the planet Jupiter, the great benefactor. It is the bringer of luck and fortune. It is the largest planet in our solar system, and thusly it corresponds to growth, especially on the philosophical level, but also on the physical level. It's about expanding your world by any means necessary, whether it be through travel, through family, friends, food, but expanding your life and expanding your world in all of the greatness and glory that is around you. It's about expanding through higher education, and Jupiter's greatest gifts come with wisdom, hence the education, success and long life, good health, and a partridge in a pear tree. And because he represents this like father figure, Jupiter, the planet, is also a protector. Due to its massive size and its gravitational pull, there are going to be more things that are inclined on their way to the sun that's inevitably going to be pulled towards Jupiter. So it saves us, the Earth, from a lot of that, a lot of those collisions. It also helps keep balance, right? Within the solar system. If Jupiter wasn't there, there would have been a possibility that Earth would have trailed off, or things would not have been the same here on Earth without the gravitational force, the balance of such a big planet as Jupiter. It is a very, very good planet to represent, and a very good, God name to represent these particular ideals and references. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is a sign of philosophy and adventure and the 9th house. And now this is where astrologers go to take a look at your long distance travel, your travel plans and such, and your higher education, what you may or may not be focused in. So other correspondences that go along with the Wheel of Fortune, obviously there's Jupiter, the element of fire, the number 10, Sagittarius, the goddess Fortuna, and the god Jupiter, as well as the planet. Wednesday, the colors dark blue and red, the elm and oak tree, and can be used for intentions such as wisdom, success, fortune, luck, and change. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. Let me know how this and all of these ideas come up in your life within the next week, or how you've noticed the Wheel of Fortune card come up within the last whenever. Share these stories with me. Let me know. Leave them in the comments if they're not too personal. Next week, we will be talking about the Justice card. So I'll see you guys next time. Namaste, and God bless.